turned his face, you could see from his ear coming down.
This cameraman was the intended assassin to kill Donald Trump, plain and simple.
You think Thomas Cook was a decoy?
I think Thomas Cook is 100% a decoy.
Thomas Crook. Who was it?
What's up, chat?
On July 13th, Thomas Crooks attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. In the immediate aftermath, our government officials have given us little to no meaningful information, and because of this, many conspiracy theories have arisen. To investigate the Trump assassination attempt properly, I assembled a dream team of experts. First up, Andrew Bustamante, an ex-CIA agent who spent 7 years in covert operations around the world. Next, Danny Hall, an elite special ops sniper who operated with the Green Berets and Delta Force and was the recipient of the prestigious Silver Star. Then we got Charlie Budd, a man who spent nearly 2 decades in the Secret Service and guarded the likes of President Clinton and both President Bushes. And finally, Senator Ron Johnson, the man who is spearheading the investigation into the Trump assassination attempt. We also talked to former classmates of Thomas Crooks and people who sat 20 feet from Donald Trump at his Butler rally. Throughout this episode, we will investigate the various conspiracies surrounding this assassination attempt in an effort to discover the truth of what happened that day. But first, a quick disclaimer.
Tommy G has just asked me to tell you that he is not Newcastle and that he very much enjoys his life because he is mildly nervous that federal agencies might try to assassinate him.
That.
And I approve this message.
My name is Andrew Bustamante. I'm a former CIA intelligence officer. I spent 7 years working undercover with the National Clandestine Service from 2007 to 2014 before I got out and rejoined the civilian world.
Former?
Yep. Yes, former CIA.
Hi, Michelle.
Charlie Budd. I'm a retired Secret Service agent. Previous experience as a special agent for U.S. Customs Service. Spent 28 years as an agent, and I'm here to discuss the events of July the 13th and the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump.
Really an agent? Ex-agent.
4 years Ranger, got out, went to college, became a computer programmer, hated it, went back to the military, became a Green Beret, and then deployed pretty much everywhere there was something to do since '91.
All of them retired.
My last 9-month mission in Basra was 152.
152 missions?
In 9 months, yeah.
You won the Silver Star.
Mm-hmm.
You took out 17 enemies with your knife.
That's what they say.
That's insane. We're on a quest to discover who was Thomas Crook. What was he like? What did people think of him? What did he do? What did his daily life look like? We're heading first to the nursing home he worked at. This is the place that he worked, and a classmate of his even said, hey, I saw him walking to work some days. It is hard to imagine a guy that was working with seniors is now front page news for trying to kill a former president. We have a man we gotta discover. Thomas Crook. Who was he?
This is a guy who history would have never remembered, and now we're going to be talking about him for a long time. So one thing that's interesting to me is that he comes from a medical background. He worked here in nursing and rehabilitation as a dietary aide. So what that tells me is that somehow he had a heart for helping people. And yet this guy ended up on a roof with a weapon trying to assassinate a former president.
What the hell?
We're getting conflicting reports. On one end, you hear people that say he was kind, polite, nice, quiet. Other reports say he was a loner, strange, and he is the guy that they got the school shooter vibes from. We're gonna talk to a couple of his classmates and see if we can get a better picture of who the man was.
I really did get like chills hearing about it. Just
niggas always playing about that shit.
Graduated with, and I don't think really anyone saw it coming. He was a respectful kid. The way that he carried himself, he was very quiet, like to himself, but never had any like threatening kind of nature.
Nah, he definitely looked like
cared about school.
I heard he wanted a math.
It's not fun.
Yeah, he was very good at, you know, academics. It was what he cared about. He pursued, you know, he wanted to go after high school for like a computer engineering kind of degree.
Was he one of the smartest kids in the grade, would you say?
Yeah, I would say that.
Some of the stuff that's going on in the news is, oh, he was bullied, he was bullied.
He was bullied almost every day. He would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, and it's honestly kind of sad. He was bullied so much, so much.
He wasn't bullied as much as the media is pushing, the mainstream media. His guidance counselor at this high school even came out with a statement last night saying, you know, Thomas never came to him for any particular bullying.
What could I have done differently? And there is nothing that we could have done in this case because there were no signs.
Incident that had been bothering him or had significantly affected him in any way. So
if a nigga getting bullied and he go tell on the bully, what do you think that bully finna do?
No, I
think
actually
he
can't
finna
say
stop
that.
bullying?
There's been a lot of, you know, articles and interviews that have come out recently that have said that he was nicknamed the school shooter years prior, and it's just absolutely not true. He had some friends that he would be close and be there for him for what he needs.
It's something I would never expect to happen around me, you feel me?
Yeah.
You see it happen in Florida, you see it happen here and there, but like here, it's so crazy. He was walking through these doors. And
every single day.
One of the main conspiracies that has emerged is questioning whether Crook worked alone or had outside help. Because after all, how could a 20-year-old kid outsmart the Secret Service? The top conspiracies on who Thomas may have collaborated with include the FBI, a shadowy U.S. government agent, and the Iranians. Let's investigate these claims.
So you think Thomas Crooks only fired once? Yep. Then they took him out because they had him in the scope for 3 to 4 minutes. They ain't going to let him shoot 8 bullets.
Looking at this guy, what an intelligence agency would do, it would send this guy a friend, an artificial friend, to create a relationship that was based on the intentions of the intelligence agency, not based on the best intentions of the individual. Once they would send in an artificial friend, that friend would start to manipulate some of Thomas's existing behaviors, like his loner behavior, his natural paranoia, his interest in things that were
they had that nigga in the scopes for
crazy,
3
like
to 4 minutes.
For 3 to 4 minutes. They ain't going to let him shoot 8 bullets.
Looking at this guy,
I ain't really looking
what
to
an intelligence agency would do,
I was wondering how they
send
sniped
this
him
guy a friend, an artificial friend, to create a relationship that was based on the intentions of the intelligence agency, not based on the best intentions of the individual. Once they would send in an artificial friend, that friend would start to manipulate some of Thomas's existing behaviors, like his loner behavior, his natural paranoia, his interest in things that were marginally crazy, like bomb making and violence. And they would find a way to validate and encourage his own natural tendencies towards behaviors that were useful to the intelligence organization.
The Heritage Foundation did an investigation and they found that a cell phone that could be traced to the FBI or near an FBI building visited Tom Crooks at the senior care facility. And this is where the conspiracy lies, that an inside government agent was helping him.
They are working on the investigation as we speak.
Too quickly.
Could have also been
two Thomas.
So what we're talking about here is known as close associations. Is it a...
The Heritage Foundation
did
an investigation and they found that a cell phone that could be traced to the FBI or near an FBI building visited Tom Crooks at the senior care facility. And this is where the conspiracy lies, that an inside government agent was helping him to carry this out. I take it you're Mike?
I am Mike.
Okay. One of the things I think is most interesting is your work. The Heritage Foundation came out with something that they traced a phone to Thomas Crooks that may have visited his place of work. Tell me more about that.
We essentially dropped geofences on known locations that Crooks had visited, to include his home, place of work, other things that have been publicly reported and confirmed. Located about 9 devices that we, popped in multiple places. The phone that pinged in the known locations of, his home or work, we then traced to a location in Washington, D.C. It pinged there 17 times. These tools are available for investigative purposes, and the FBI and Secret Service have not been forthcoming with any new information about the assassination plot.
So what we're talking about here is known as close associations. Is it a cell phone to cell phone connection? Meaning, did one phone call the other phone? If so, was it a two-way transaction? Was it a one-way transaction? Meaning, was it just an inbound call? Was it an outbound call? Did the calls actually connect? Were there multiple calls? Or is it just what's known as a geolocation association? Meaning the phone was in the same geolocation as another phone. If he worked at a nursing care facility and the FBI officer had, or if it wasn't an FBI officer at all, it could have also been an FBI accountant, could have been an FBI informant, could have been an FBI bureaucrat. Were they at the same nursing facility just visiting their mom or their dad or their aunt or their uncle? And they just happened to be geospatially or geolocated at the same location. That's the problem with organizations like Heritage Foundation. When they actually go to do the investigation, they don't look at all the different possibilities that could help explain why there's an association between the two phones.
That they're going to have to start pulling all the data from the towers, and they're going to have to identify all of the phones that were there. They're going to have to look back in time too, pull the data from around whatever cell coverage was at his home, because if you look at where his home is compared to where the site is, they're not close to each other, and they would not be the same cell towers.
Another suspicious detail is that he happened to train at a gun range where FBI guys were known to train, and that's where some people speculate that if a connection was made there.
In this rural part of Pennsylvania where he's from, there's not a lot of options for where you might be able to train. When you combine the fact that an FBI cell phone was geolocated close to Thomas Crook at his workplace, and then you also consider the fact that an FBI officer or FBI presence was known to train at the same gun range. Was there some sort of
what do you think he's trying to say?
Between him and some FBI
inside job on Trump?
Was FBI covertly surveilling Crooks and seeking and putting themselves in a location where they were following him to his workplace and or following him to the gun range? Or was Crooks himself following known FBI agents?
Law enforcement sometimes uses private ranges or public ranges that are open to the public. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily in conspiracy with an individual.
Grab a leaf.
Last two.
Frontal leaf.
Pop up, double tap. That's the guy from, I think, inside. That's your second shooter that they took out from inside, I believe.
There may be a second shooter additional to Thomas Crook.
Wait, it was 2 shooters?
We have eyewitness accounts that there were 8 shells besides Crook's body.
Almost immediately after the news broke, a left-wing conspiracy began circulating that Trump staged this event. Some said this was a way to divert attention from the news that Trump was named in the Epstein files, and others said this was just a publicity stunt to boost his polling numbers. Because after all, they said, the camera person that took this photo was ushered in front of the stage by the Secret Service at the absolute perfect moment. This is what the internet had to say.
Why is Donald Trump's ear healed so quickly after being shot? For the first time since the assassination attempts earlier this month, Trump has been seen without the bandage that covered his ear. Everyone on the internet is puzzled by the absence of stitches or visible scars on the former president. Recent photos from a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu show Trump's ear looking remarkably unscathed.
I cannot believe what I'm
hearing.
Right now. To say that Donald Trump's assassination was staged is just wild.
If you wanted to stage an assassination, you would shoot 35, 40 degrees off target, well away from anybody accidentally getting hit.
The other thing that caused people to think Trump staged this are the questions surrounding his ear. Did he use fake blood? Did he trust a shooter to graze his ear? Did his ear truly get hit by a bullet? And if so, how did it heal so damn fast? What's nonsense and what's fact? Let's ask the experts to give their opinions on this. It was said that Trump was shot through the ear with a bullet. This here's a picture of Trump's ear.
Trump is just a W.
6 days ago.
So I don't know. I would trust.
This nigga glazing. He ain't even paid attention to nothing we just watched.
Is what did the bullet wound look like?
Well, people still care about that.
Gunshot.
What, the president getting shot? Or the ex-president? Whatever the fuck he is?
You can actually see that the body of the ear itself is still attached. So the upper part of the lobe is still there. In fact, it looks like it was just this back area here that was nicked, and that's where all the blood came from. So not only would the wound have healed and the bleeding would have stopped, but then on top of that, you can see that he's under heavy makeup because it's a press appearance. So the makeup would have actually covered up.
The other video I watched, though, the way they broke it down is, because everybody say he missed, but he didn't miss. The way they broke down the video, the trajectory and everything, Trump had turned his head like at the perfect time. If he didn't turn his head, that would have been like a headshot on that nigga.
No way that's true.
But
I mean, unless there's somebody else.
the way they speaking, what if they told that nigga Trump to turn his head right now?
Shot on a countdown and all this other shit.
Nah, I don't think they'd risk that much. Cause what if a nigga do this?
Critically injured. And
accidentally kill his ass trying to set some shit up.
And saying that it was, you know, all like an inside job and stuff like that. I think that a lot of them are not much, but
that nigga named Hero.
Yeah, I was 3 rows off the stage.
What are the
we had gunshots, and I just kind of, I ducked down and started praying I wasn't going to get shot, man. There was 2 people shot right behind me. I mean, I don't think that's real. I mean, we saw, you know, pictures, and I had family members that were right beside Corey. It's reality.
Only 2 weeks later, his ear looks like this.
Oh, wow.
What do you make of that?
It seemed like it healed very quickly.
Nah, that's not that Hero. Different Hero.
I mean, I can't really speak to that.
He verified though.
With makeup.
I can totally tell you the exact 100% details.
I don't know.
This entire day.
Apparently it's like this, like the breakdown. Like apparently it's been conspiracy and shit, but I ain't been paying attention to it at all. But I fuck with Tommy G. I watch all his vids, so that's why we watching this.
On a hard drive.
I don't know if you know Tommy G. Normally he go around through hoods, like basically showing like the hoods and shit in different areas. Like a nigga like me that's closed in and kind of, you feel me, I don't be tapped in like that. I wouldn't have known Alaska looked the way it looked. I thought Alaska was igloos and shit. But my nigga Tommy G pulled up to Alaska to the hood, and you like, oh, okay, it ain't even no snow out.
This man, Todd, who attended the Butler rally.
I don't know if I'm the only one, bro, but I always thought it was just igloos and shit out there.
Scared that the government was going to kill him for this information, Todd had us meet him at a local gas station to give us the details. Here's what we learned.
Todd? Nice to meet you. Hang tight. No pictures yet. No pictures yet?
You talking about at least Trump called his head like airsoft. Yeah, I fuck with Tommy G. I'm surprised the hoods let him slide through. I mean, if you ain't...
He turned around and just started...
It's not that surprising.
So many people were hit that you guys don't even
It's kind of a transactional
This is when the state policeman and that guy...
situation.
They grabbed him and...
He helping them niggas out.
After they killed him,
them niggas be...
dragging like this.
Want to be rappers... It's always at least one of them niggas rapping in every hood. He be helping them niggas out.
Whose elevator hasn't left the first floor.
He ain't paying them niggas no bag. If anything, he making them money. He put their music on.
Oh, he had explosives in a van? Where the footage of that?
He putting their shit throughout every hood he go to. He play their song throughout the whole video. And they do be foul sometimes, so niggas tap me in.
I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good man. There's a difference. I will splatter you like pizza. Nothing like your asshole so puckered up. It's like, motherfucker, this is up. I can't believe this. I'm in the house pacing the kitchen all day Sunday after my wife and children left, leaning up against the wall looking out the glass door so I can see.
And it's also how you carry yourself too. It's like you gotta go about shit the right way.
Do you mind if we start recording?
Day of the Donald Trump rally.
This nigga scared the police. The government gonna kill him. He shouldn't even be doing this vid.
What initially caught my attention was a couple young men in the crowd that were throwing some harassment towards one of the speakers on the stage. So when he walked out through the throughway of where the Secret Service would be coming through, I'm sure he was given a little bit of a lecture, but during that time, he was also giving some hand signals.
Super sticky.
Continuing the conversation. What caught my eye was a cameraman in a backpack.
Sean, what's good
an extension pole that come up and over. I kept my attention to this man and watched what he was doing. He looked as if he did not play the part simply because he looked like just the average guy walking out of Walmart. After Donald Trump was speaking, when Donald Trump initially had turned his head, this cameraman had a clear shot to the back of Donald Trump's head to where he fired multiple shots. The first one no doubt missed. The second one clipped his ear. You could tell by the photographs in my video that you could tell it is an exit wound. And you see the third shot to where he's getting down.
You saw with your own 2 eyes this guy take shots at Donald Trump?
Yes, I was still holding my phone going like this and witnessed what had happened. This man then had turned and fired several into the crowd before a man in black and a state cop that was heavier set, probably 6 foot, 250
what
pounds,
the hell?
had gripped him up, gripped meaning the cameraman, and fired on him 4 times, killing him. And people were there talking about this man on the roof. That man was just a decoy. This cameraman was the intended assassin to kill Donald Trump, plain and simple.
You think Thomas Cook was a decoy?
I think Thomas Cook is 100% a decoy, without a doubt. You cannot deny facts with evidence.
Do you still have a copy of that on your phone? Did you delete it off your phone?
To put it on a hard drive. I kept an edited version on my phone just to hold.
Why didn't you keep the unedited version on your phone too?
Simply because I knew what I had. My life, for sure, is in danger with detrimental information. Every day, I'm glad I wake up. Because I don't know if tomorrow is the last day. I don't know if 10 minutes from now when I walk outside is the last day.
What would it take
Damn,
to go to
imagine.
Copies, watch
10 minutes later, he gets sniped.
For the American people?
I would need 1 day of time to go and get this.
If we met you tomorrow, that would be enough time?
Probably tomorrow, probably about 3 o'clock. Where this video that I initially sent into the higher-ups of DC,
Trump or Biden? Does it matter?
As we speak.
How did you send it to them?
Biden quit.
I sent it to them via email and
Does it really fucking matter?
Wouldn't it be in your email right now?
We got some female finna be president.
From this phone. Simply, this phone that you're looking at right here.
I don't know what the fuck's going on, nigga. I don't really care either.
You stay safe for 24 hours, we'll stay safe for 24 hours, and we'll rendezvous and make this thing happen?
That sounds like a plan.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
My take on the cameraman was he was here Friday night with us at the volunteer setup. I had countless pictures of him here on Saturday. He definitely was a suspicious person, but I'm not sure.
Like, there's no reason to hate on a nigga like Tommy G.
If you're a cameraman, why are you there Saturday morning helping?
He just be, you feel me? He be giving niggas opportunity to tell a story in the hoods, all that shit.
Yeah, then his stuff's down at the local
putting their music on.
Distillery bar. What is the name of the place? Missing Links.
Y'all voting on?
All this camera stuff.
I'm a
they
felon.
Never got it yet. Why is that?
At this very brewery behind me, apparently he left his equipment and he since hasn't been seen again. So we're gonna see if there's any truth to this and see what people have to say. Does it sound plausible?
No. Well, he doesn't look familiar. He was not here that I recall.
Brought his camera equipment to this very restaurant. And then after that, he disappeared permanently.
Oh. We have 4 people here. Correct.
Okay, let me ask you.
But even before that, there was only a few tables here before that.
After speaking with the waitresses at Missing Links, I wanted to follow up with Todd to get his take. Unfortunately, he went ghost. While I was sitting wondering whether the government got him, or whether the truth was he had no video at all, he finally got back to me, telling me to hang tight that he was at lunch feeding his face. I waited for a call from him, but never got one. And when I texted him with the knowledge I learned from the waitresses, he left me unread. Until Todd sends me the video, I'm gonna go out on a limb and consider this conspiracy debunked.
So it's bullshit. Or it's like three
While
different.
many
It's like a
estimate
bunch of different
incompetence behind
conspiracies.
the Secret Service's failure on July 13th, one conspiracy floating around is that they intentionally allowed Thomas to take the shot. The questions that have been raised are, how
Yeah,
could
I feel like they
Thomas
did.
possibly get anywhere near the former president after being found at the rally with a rangefinder? Why was the Secret Service sniper not given clearance to take out Crooks if he was spotted with a rifle on the roof? And is it possible that President Biden assigned a B-team security detail to Trump in order to let Crook take the shot? And if all of this was simply a bad day for the Secret Service where mistakes were made, are DEI hiring tactics to blame? Let's explore these questions. One of the main conspiracies we're investigating is whether this was intentional by the Secret Service, that the job was so bad that this was an intentional effort to let Thomas Crook take the shot, Or was this just massive incompetence?
It was not an intentional doing of the Secret Service. Over the course of my career, there is no one that I have ever come in contact with in the U.S. Secret Service that is not willing to do their job, which means to take a bullet for an individual that we are protecting.
The argument that a 20-year-old kid couldn't outsmart Secret Service is a valid argument. A 20-year-old kid like this cannot outsmart Secret Service. However, if you've ever watched a professional football game and you've seen a professional NFL quarterback fumble a ball, that's more akin to what actually happened that day in Butler, Pennsylvania. Fumbled. They made a mistake. And then they made compounding mistakes on top of that. Whether or not he had an inside assist is a question that is still to be answered. The simplest solution is often the most accurate solution. And the simplest solution here really is that in a rural county during a political rally, a kid was able to get up on a roof with a gun and take a shot at a former president because the Secret Service left a gap in their security perimeter.
So we're at the building right now that Crook took the shots from. I see the security coming up too. We'll pay them no mind, but this is the building that Thomas Crooks was on, navigating as he took the shot in plain sight for about 90 minutes before he did it.
You have to exit the property.
Huh?
It's for trespass, you have to exit the property.
Hey, who are you?
I'm security, you have to exit the property. Did you get trespassing charges, please?
Security of this?
Yes. Can you please exit?
Are you a government agent?
Please exit the property or you get trespassing charges.
Okay, we'll get walking,
This way, please.
They own it.
This way here?
Our car is on that side.
I know that. You have to exit this way though, please.
You have to exit this way? It's not going to be difficult.
You're trespassing. Now I can call the cops to get you cited for trespassing.
I hear that.
Can you please?
We're going to walk this way. Where's the sidewalk?
You're on property. I'm about to call the cops if you get trespassing.
Call him, nigga. Call him.
We're going to exit this way.
No, my nigga Tommy G ain't pussy.
Because of the easy vantage points, it begs the question, why was this not scoped out? Why was this something that was just left for a kid that was cited for about 90 minutes to be allowed to be on premise, on site?
He on his heels.
Where they have millions of skyscrapers.
Dude in the background.
This is the one spot of the area, which makes the whole thing even more interesting. And it goes further into the conspiracy, whether it was incompetence or on purpose. So, and also, isn't it interesting too that just filming this, security is there to apprehend you, but Thomas Crook was able to make it through. We're supposedly SWAT
that's crazy
team,
though.
law enforcement,
think about it like
Secret
that.
Service was all congregated. How is it you think that Thomas Crook was able to evade detection? Because I mean, when you scan the situation, that is a pretty obvious building to lock down, and the fact that the Secret Service didn't. They're supposed to be elite. They're supposed to hold it down. Like, what do you think happened?
I mean, I think there was a lack of security the other day. I don't think there was enough communication between our local sniper teams and the Secret Service. I mean, I was here Friday night, and for the volunteer setup, I was able to drive my vehicle right and park 5 feet from the stage. I was never searched or nothing. I've never saw that before. I mean, I volunteered at plenty of events, and this is the first time I was able to drive right up to the stage. So
you've covered other Trump events before?
Yeah, 22 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so describe the difference between those 22 and this one.
So they're typically locked down 36 hours prior to the rally. This one was still completely unlocked 12 hours prior to the rally. Usually you're searched, vetted, background checks to even get anywhere near that place Friday night.
The white boys worship Trump.
What was it like that day? And I guess
a white boy shot Trump. So like, what does that mean?
The day of.
I don't think it really matters what color you are.
There was nothing. I could have drove right in. I had my truck, we drove right in, right through the door, and pulled right up, and there's nobody around. They had to walk around just to find anyone.
And was this your first Trump rally?
Oh, no. We've been down to Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago many times. We go to a lot of rallies. We go over to the United States and do stuff for him and whatever we need to do.
So, Danny, you did perimeter security for which president?
Clinton.
So as you're looking at an area, what are the primary things that you're thinking about in securing a location?
Set up a perimeter, first of all.
I used to say this all the time. Trump not racist to like
anything high, you need
black
to have
people and stuff. He
view
racist
from
to
a
broke
higher
people.
place, like either see this somewhere high or have a drone.
He don't fuck with you
so
if you
I was
broke.
at the rally 15 feet behind Trump.
Cause he letting niggas like Kodak and shit out of
were
jail
the
and shit.
security at the
Want to go get
the metal detectors when you walked in
professional
was
baseball
quick and
players
not
from
very
stealing in
thorough.
China
The
and
three
shit.
bleachers where Corey was fatally wounded and 2 others were critically wounded was supposed to
He
be
just don't fuck with the broke
VIP
people.
only. That was not the case. It was quite unorganized, and it was very surprising that an event of this magnitude was organized in such a poorly way. right there on those 4 vents is where Thomas Crooks was stationed when he was shooting at the stage that Trump was on. The counter-assault teams were on that building, and another building that we can't see, but that is the building that Thomas Crooks was on with the 4 vents on it, and this is very similar to where Trump's stage was. So there was no one on either of these 2 buildings besides Thomas Crooks. There was local police located inside that building. But not on top. Not on top. That seemed like such an obvious thing. Does it seem inconceivable that they were not on top of the roof?
Yeah, or at least having a drone doing something, or I mean something, but personnel is better.
It's also important to mention that they were right where that 16 is. That's where that one Secret Service counter sniper team was. And you could say that roof right there. That roof on building 16. That's where the fatal shot was taken. No, that's just where one counter sniper team was.
The sniper team that was up on this roof here, they readjust. The guy who's up on the tripod, he readjusts. He pulls that tripod back and then re-engages his scope and actually lowers the muzzle. So when CS comes out, survey of an area, counter sniper. So they're going to do their own survey of an area. And what they do is they're looking at lines of sight, and they're going to look at what's going to be in their area of responsibility. Once they've identified that, they're locked into that area of responsibility. So that team could have been watching something over here. Could have been the tower. Depends on how much, and how much they were going to cover and what their terrain is.
So even if you were called in to identify somebody in this vicinity, there's like 5 buildings here, and they all look the same. Like, that's not an easy task.
With how little ground there's to cover, you don't think it's that easy to
find? There's 5 buildings back there.
They
didn't know there was going to be a rooftop shooter. What they had to be ready for was any kind of shooter, and any kind of bomb, and any kind of physical threat, and any kind of rogue driver. So we're looking at all of this.
That's the ex-CIA agent.
Counter sniper team, not
because we already know how the story unfolded.
Right, but if you put yourself in the Secret Service shoes, the morning of the 5 minutes before
hindsight is always 20/20. Okay, we get the benefit of knowing everything now in time since it happened.
Jill Biden had an indoor event where there were apparently many more Secret Service agents assigned to her rally than Trump in an outdoor rally. What do you make of that?
Well, she's the First Lady of the United States. She is entitled to U.S. Secret Service protection. In terms of manpower, she is what's considered a satellite detail under the President's detail. They're going to make assessments as to what is needed for each event, the type of event, the location of the event, the number of people in attendance, how are they going to do the screening. When you have 2 events in the same area, there is going to be a dissipation of manpower.
So strategically, Thomas Crook chose a bad location.
Oh yeah.
Why is that?
Well, one, they can see you most likely. Somebody over there can see you because as soon as you hit that crest, somebody knows you're up there. So whether or not you shoot him immediately, that's another story I don't understand yet. Number 2, as soon as he shoots that round, he's not coming off that building. That's it. So you'd want to have a technique. One, it'd be further away by a long ways. Also, it depends if you're a trained sniper, you should be able to take that shot 300 or 400 yards at least. And I wouldn't use an iron-sided weapon either. I'd use an optic weapon. If you're going to shoot back there, you need to be a skilled shooter to shoot iron sights. Honestly.
And we have to keep in mind there's 100, 110 degrees on top of it, so it must have been a pretty uncomfortable position to be in laying prone. And just so people know your experience, what's the distance that you've taken someone out from?
Like 900
yards.
Yeah.
That ain't nothing to you, huh? 900 meters?
Meters, yards, pretty similar.
Yeah.
You just said that shit so
casual. We're not talking feet, we're talking yards.
Yeah.
To test and see
900 yards?
To take the shot at 148
what
yards,
the fuck?
at 450 feet approximately, the Thomas Crook shot. We're gonna have a total amateur like myself. I have very little rifle training, a little bit of pistol training, but I am not a good shot by any means. And we're gonna have an expert marksman, a 20-year plus sniper for the Special Forces to take the shot, and anyone else that cares to take it. So this is what Thomas Crook was spotted with at the rally.
Something similar.
Who besides a sniper or a hunter would want to carry this?
Golfer.
A golfer?
Yeah.
We can't totally recreate the environment. Knowing what I know about you, I think if you just pretend that there's some communists out there, I think you'll be pretty accurate, right?
Probably. There we go.
How did we get here? We testing his capability?
For the record, I'm not pretending this is a president. I'm pretending this is a communist.
There it is. There it is.
Just from my reaction of doing this, the chances of only grazing somebody's ear would be ridiculous. So for the people that do say, hey, this is staged, that would be the craziest shot to pull off.
Yeah.
And you would never get an inexperienced marksman to do it even a guy that is top in his class,
Yeah.
Would Thomas's elevation have made the shot easier?
Oh yeah, and he didn't have all his grass to deal with because we can't see the whole target right now either.
So he had a target that was a little bit higher, and he had maybe a 10, 12 foot range.
Yeah, and if you're shooting, he didn't have enough high angle to where he'd compensate a high angle calculation. He was only like, a little bit. He's almost just barely down.
Type shit. That Thomas Crook was in the scope of a sniper for over 8 minutes, and that the sniper requested permission to take him out and was denied. Why would that be?
Depends whose sniper they're talking about. Was he on the ground?
Sound like an inside job to me.
In the crowd somewhere? Was he
My nigga requested to take out the sniper and they told his ass, no. What you mean? It's a sniper out here. Let me smoke this nigga.
On that roof.
Civilians on the ground even saw this guy with a gun on their roof.
I ain't gonna lie, if I'm Secret Service, I don't even know if I'm requesting. I see a nigga pulling up with sniper, setting up, gang. I think I'm gonna just snipe his ass. What are you doing over there, bro?
Every agency's
And accept my consequences.
So you're going to have to go
What
back
the hell is you doing?
and do an after-action review of a timeline of setting up, when these people were
setting
calling
up
out that there was someone on the roof with a gun.
next to the rally.
actual
They was supposed to
timeline
just quick scope
of
his
when
ass before he even
President
shot.
Trump was allowed to come on the stage, and you're also going to have to sync up with that any law enforcement communications, whether it's via the radio or via text messaging. You'll have to sync all of these items up to see when it was first called out that there was someone on the roof with a weapon, as to when it was communicated, how it was communicated, and fix all of these different variables into one timeline to see where the gap is, where the mistakes were made.
Did Biden intentionally assign duds to Trump's security detail?
President Biden doesn't have a say in who exactly is assigned to anyone's detail. People are assigned on merit, people are assigned on experience, people are assigned on where they are in their career.
Do you believe that the policies of DEI are eroding the effectiveness of the Secret Service?
Like I said earlier, I think that the best policy is meritocracy. I think what matters is the person capable of doing the job, regardless of their background, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their gender. PT scores matter, firearms scores matter. The ability of someone to operate in an environment such as the Secret Service environment matters. Doesn't matter who the person is if they can operate in the environment. That's what matters most to keep the protectees safe of the Secret Service.
Conspiracy number 5. Was the CIA / government
It may
involved?
sound ludicrous to ask whether an American intelligence agency had a part to play in the Trump shooting, but when you reflect that many Americans consider the CIA to be among the top suspects in the JFK assassination, it perhaps doesn't seem as far-fetched. After all, over the course of the CIA's history, they've plotted to take out world leaders ranging from Gaddafi to Saddam Hussein. Now, while none of these actually came to fruition, it's worth noting that these documented assassination plots give you an idea of how the CIA is willing to think. And folks, the other thing that slants everyday Americans towards being suspicious of their own government is a seemingly consistent lack of transparency. I mean, Exhibit A is Kim Cheetos.
So more than once they asked for additional help and you turned them down. What they asked for and how many times did you turn them down? Pretty basic questions.
So again, without having all of the details in front of me, sir, again, I don't know the specifics. I'll have to get back to you on that. I am still verifying timelines.
And folks, for historical reference, long after JFK files were supposed to be
Sound like a movie response.
available for public consumption, the U.S. government has chosen to still keep us in the dark. And it's in this environment lacking transparency that conspiracy theories are able to sprout. Let's ask the experts what they think about U.S. intelligence being involved in the Trump attempt. You mentioned the JFK assassination. A lot of people think the CIA was in on that.
If you recall, when Donald Trump first became president, he promised to release the JFK files. And then upon reviewing the JFK files, he chose to continue to classify a majority of them, many thousands of files, for something called 2x25, which means 2 times 25 years, or 50 total years of classification. That's the default, which means after 50 years, it should be unclassified. When something expires after 50 years and is then reclassified, the only reason something like that is reclassified is because the information inside the file is still relevant to national security. So the bigger question here is, what still exists inside the JFK assassination files collected by CIA that still to this day is deemed to be secret?
What do you think it was that was the difference maker? Was it just someone did the wrong paperwork, someone didn't make the right calls? Why do you think this was
They be
so
having classified shit for real.
I think the Secret Service was part of the whole 9 yards. Look at Kennedy. They killed Kennedy, didn't they?
Makes you wonder how much
they just screwed up.
Classified.
Screwed up, so they had to take him out. Here you are.
You think Crook was their chosen guy?
I think that Crook was the fall kid. 20-year-old don't know no better to do any of what stuff he did.
Do you think we're ever going to learn the truth?
No, I personally don't think that will ever come out. All the information has ever come out about Kennedy's assassination.
Any theories or conspiracies about the event?
Well, just judging from...
You just came in here talking about a damn poop checkpoint. I'm pretty sure whatever opinions you have are fucking irrelevant, my guy.
Myself. I have many theories.
I ain't gonna hold you. You talking about a fucking poop checkpoint like 2 minutes ago.
Everybody's attention.
Whatever you got input on this, like, it's probably irrelevant, gang. I ain't gonna lie.
Do you think it's possible that our government helped Thomas Crook to do this?
Absolutely, I do. Yes, I do. I don't believe that a 20-year-old whose phone pings in D.C. near an FBI
bad
building,
for the firefighter that died.
I also don't think where he practiced shooting with other FBI agents is coincidental.
The Heritage Foundation released findings that Thomas Crook seems to be in contact with someone that is either near or in an FBI building, and that person may have visited him at his job at the senior care facility. What do you know about that?
So I asked the FBI briefer about that, and he just basically rolled his eyes. When the federal law enforcement is looking into these things, they're not briefing the public, they're not being transparent. They can pretty well cherry pick what they want to reveal.
We took a deep dive into the main conspiracies that are out there on the Thomas Crook case. We had gun experts, special forces snipers, a CIA agent, Secret Service, U.S. Senator, and of course people that were there witnessing the event firsthand. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you're interested in the CIA spy content and want to learn more, Andrew's channel is linked in the description. Fascinating stuff. Great podcast guest. Look all of his stuff up. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week.
WV is how many?
Guys, I gotta let you know behind the scenes, this video was only possible because of my friend Julian Dory.
Yeah, we don't care. Shout out Julian though. We don't care. Loki got her shit.
Yes, I remember it all. Swear the hype be too tall. So like September, I fall down below. Now I know that the medicine be on call. Yeah. Was feeling like you hot enough to melt. Yeah. Can't trust no one, can't even trust yourself. Yeah. And I love you, I don't love nobody else. Yeah. Tell them they can take that bullshit elsewhere.
Slow folks, what's good here?
I'm treating me right. Yeah. Hell yeah, we gonna be alright. We gonna be alright. I switched the time zone, but what do I know? Spending nights hitchhiking, where will I go? I can fly home with my eyes closed, but it get kinda hard to see. There's no surprise though, and you can find me.
Up slow folks.
I don't move my feet when I be gliding. I just slide. signs. I've been losing my mind. Get the fuck out the way. Must be this how to play. It must be nice up above the lights and what a lovely life that I made. Yeah, I know that feeling like it's in my family tree. Yeah, that Mercedes drove me crazy. I was speeding. Somebody save me from myself. Yeah, tell them they can take that bullshit elsewhere. Self-care, we gonna be good. Hell yeah, they letting me clap. I switched to time zone, but what do I know? Spending nights hitchhiking, where will I go? I could fly home with my eyes closed, but if you're kinda hard to see, there's no surprise though. And you can find me, I ain't hiding. I don't move my feet when I be gliding. I just slide it, and then I roll out. I didn't know, I didn't know. I didn't know, I didn't know. Yeah. Well, didn't know what I was missing. Now I see a little different. I was taking too much. Got stuck in oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. I got all the time in the world, so for now I'm just chilling. Plus I know it's a beautiful feeling. In oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, I ride around my city when I come home. Yeah, the sunset quickly, then get up slow. Yeah. I just connect and upload. Watch it spin around. We just spin it around. Yeah. Let's go and travel through the unknown. Yeah. We play it cool, we know we fucked up. Yeah. You keep on saying you in love, so tell me, are you really down? Are you really down? Yeah. Let's go back to my crib and play some 45s. It's safe in here, I know there's still a war outside. We spend our nights all liquored up, I'm on the side. Can you feel it now? Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, 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 yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. I got all the time in the world, so for now I'm just chilling. Plus I know it's a beautiful feeling. In oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah.
Playtime's over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Spent the whole day in the do a little spring cleaning. I'm always too busy dreaming.
Resurgence. Survive and your team can redeploy. Eliminate targets to bring them back fast. High priority contract is available. Check your TAC map for objective location. Alright, we got you started. You finished the job.
Instantly.
We are returning you to the front. Earn this.
Hostile mosquito is online.
Squad is down. Stay alive to bring them back. You've got reinforcements inbound.
Watch out. Where the fuck you at?
Your squad made it to the safe zone.
Enemies deploy the counter UAV.
Enemies dropping into the AO.
Identity confirmed.
Down to you, soldier. Stay sharp. Your squad mate's back on station. Good work. You got a loadout drop inbound.
This all be just hard. Everybody's already. So are we. Right after the poly, this nigga goes in there like and fucking just like. Cool. First game on. The fuck we do that? You know you the last fucking guy. Why the fuck are you rushing full team?
A lot of things I regret, but I just say I forget. Why can't it just be easy?
Fucking brain.
Why does everybody need me to stay? Oh, I hate the feeling when you're high, but you're underneath the ceiling. Got the cards in my hand, I hate dealing. I need and I'm gone, but it ain't stealing. Can I get a break? I wish that I could just get out my goddamn way. What is there to say? There ain't a better time than today. Maybe I'll lay down for a little, instead of always trying to figure everything out. And all I do is say sorry. Half the time I don't even know what I'm saying it about. Good news, good news, good news, that's all I wanna hear. No, they don't like it when I'm down, but when I'm flying, no, it make them so uncomfortable, so different. What's the difference when it ain't that bad? Always be worse. I'm running out of gas, hardly anything left. Hope I go home from work.